bring it back to the newsroom, over the past month, I've talked with many of you, and again, thank you all for sharing your time and your insight on key challenges related to data storytelling. I've barely met many of you, and you guys opened up to me, and I think that's just incredible. And you guys were also really excited about this topic. So, and the key challenges really boil down to these 5 things here. Over the next few slides, I really want to talk about the first one there, and that's the process. That the current state, the process within the newsroom, it makes it really hard, really difficult to all get together and talk about the product that's being developed from a data story and analysis perspective. And so this visual I created as what I was told is the current state of story development, essentially here. So it's a very linear process, conveyor belt-like. It's largely with the author. It sits with the author, and then eventually it's passed on to the analyst, and then the designer gets it last. The author has the largest role, and the analyst has, there are just a few, but they're not really their main job. They're self-taught, and so there was just a lower level of analysis capabilities within the organization at this time. And there are more designers, but the designers are engaged in the story a little bit later on. And so I heard that there's a gap of communication. Oftentimes designers don't know the author's name, and so maybe there's a night and a day shift too, and so they really don't even see each other. So what I heard is that data and design aren't at the table. As the story is coming, topic is being developed, they're not at the table. And so the engagement is much later on, and so that's creating a gap in collaboration and product development and so forth. So from an outsider perspective, it seems that the actual process isn't, or the system isn't really designed for easy collaboration here. And if our future state is to get to a point of data storytelling, to really support that, we need to figure out some solutions here. And so what I recommended is just some small steps in the interim to start to work toward a more desirable future state. And so this is the interim state, and you can see that it's still in a linear fashion, right? It's not completely integrated, but that the roles have equal responsibility in size at least. And it's still starting with the writer, because I believe that's probably not really going to change much. But there are more analysts. So what we've done is we've developed where we had lower capabilities. The analyst was a much smaller circle there. So how can we grow?
What do you mean when you say analysts?
So statisticians, any sort of analytic. It doesn't have to be a title. It can be an author who has not necessarily coding, but analyst background. So can run analyses, can use different, has a technical level, use different tools, and so forth. I think the capability is really wide, and you'd have to look at a newsroom, what a newsroom really needs. But it's my understanding that data analysis is not a job requirement to be a reporter. Yeah. And so that means that there's probably a very low capability level. Some people have it, are more advanced, but there's probably some areas that have not been developed. And so you can either teach and train, or you can kind of hire out and start to build out that staffing, build out that function, until you can cross-train and equalize it a little bit.
Would editors be functioning as analysts? I mean,
yeah,
they seem to be.
Yeah, I think